Hello gamers and welcome back. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshak if you want to call me by my in-game name. And in this video, we're going to be covering the top 5 legendaries that I believe came out of the Witchwood expansion. Granted, I'm looking at the legendaries that are actually seeing play right now in competitive decks and have multiple uses and when played actually change games. We're not talking about that those meme legendaries or the meme cards that work out 1 in every 100 games and it ends up being like a crazy, crazy interesting combo. I'm talking about competitive play in the standard format, what legendaries are actually seeing play. So with that, let's head right into it. Surprisingly, Shaman got pretty good legendaries from Witchwood. First being Hagatha. Not only is this played as a defensive tool, it's actually used as a value generator. So herself, or I should say herself, when you play her, of course, deals 3 damage to everything on the board, which is a sizable board clear for 8 mana, plus you gain the 5 armor. So if you're playing against any mid-range or aggro deck, this is going to clear up the minions pretty well. On top of the fact that you have, Lightning Storm and Volcano, it just adds to the utility of being able to clear the board. On top of that, the new hero power that you obtain by after you play a minion, add a random shaman spell to your hand is huge. It actually doesn't sound that impressive, and when I first read it, I was like, it's okay, but it doesn't compete with, like, Gul'dan or maybe Jaina, even Valera, the rogue DK. But after playing with it, and after playing quite a few games with Control Shaman, I've actually liked this card. I've actually grown to enjoy obtaining free spells from the Shaman class, whether it be a Bloodlust, a Volcano, a Healing Rain, give a minion Wind Fury, draw cards, make more minions. There's just a variety of Shaman spells that do all sorts of things, whether it's heal you, buff the board, like I mentioned, buff your minions, generate more value. It's just really, really insane. Especially all put together within the Control Shaman class. It works really well, and she also is found in the OTK version. Not that I recommend playing that version because I really dislike that deck. But overall, she's just a solid DK. Not the best. She's not a Gul'dan, but still, she's very solid. And you can't really play a Control Shaman without including this card in your deck. So I thought it was definitely worthy of a top 5 situation. In regards to legendaries, in comparison to, like, let's say our top 5 worst legendaries. I mean, they were just awful. The next top legendary is going to be Shudder. I look at this card, and originally I had rated this card very poorly. I didn't really think about him in the sense of, like, what about Elise? What about Prince? What about Primordial Drake? Stuff like Stonehill Defender and board clear statuses. What was it? Serenite Chain Gang, Grumble. All right, so I didn't really look at that combo like as I was looking at Shudderwook. I was looking at just the general, 9 mana 6/6, repeat all their battle cries, and I'm just like, targets are chosen randomly, whatever. It's just a new kind of Yogg. But it actually turns out in the Control Shaman, this card is actually very, very, like, insanely powerful. Again, I've never played the OTK Shudderwook Shaman. I really dislike the deck. Any deck that just, like, stalls, plays 1 card and wins is just lame in my opinion. That's not fun for me. That's not fun for the viewers, and that's not fun for my opponents, and I try not to play those kind of decks. But control decks have always been something I've been interested in, and this guy fits into Control Shaman very, very snug. And I'm gonna have to bite the bullet. This guy was a lot better than expected. I don't mind, if I'm wrong on predicting how good a card is, that's fine. If I predict a card to be shit and it actually turns out great, that's great. I'm glad the card is good and it's playable that I thought it was bad. I mean, it's just another learning curve to predicting cards and doing our card reviews. So a lot of people are like, Rob, ha ha ha, you were so wrong about Shudderwook. What do you think about that, bitch? And I'm like, that's cool that the card's good. I don't know why you guys are, like, trying to jab me for me making a wrong prediction. I fucking Trump rated Gul'dan a 1-star. Like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, man. People are wrong, and you just gotta, it just happens, man. So I'm glad that this card turned out to be okay. It's not as random as I thought, and he fits out in a control deck, which I enjoy playing. So, win, win, and win. So Shudderwook, fantastic card come from the set. Works very well in the Control Shaman. And I'm sure I'll see some more play, regardless of it being like a mid-range Shaman or, more Control Shaman variations. I mean, this card just fits in very snug. The next card we're going to take a look at is Lord Joffers. You've mentioned that. I know it's Godfrey, but I call him Joffers. Just one of the Rob things. And solid control warlock card, solid cube lock card. Not that I play cube warlock, but you know, I've seen the card played in that deck, and regardless, the ability to basically have an upgraded defile plus you get a minion attached to it is just insane. I don't really have to. You guys have, I'm sure you guys have played Warlock. I'm sure you guys have seen Defile, and I'm sure you guys have seen Mr. Joffers. And he just does work. You can't. He's just a solid field clear. I mean, there's nothing bad to say about him. I mean, granted, if your opponent doesn't, let's say you're playing like a control mage, right? And then he turns into not so swell. But besides that, very solid card. Not too much to go in there. One of the best legendaries to come out, in my opinion. So I wanted to include notable card. I wanted to include Mr. Crowley, but unfortunately he did not meet the cut, as I wanted to cover two legendaries that are probably seen more than any other legendary to come out of the Witchwood, and that's Baku and Greymane. So I'm kind of going to lump these two together because my review of both of these is basically the same thing, and it's odd and even decks, whether you're talking about Paladin, Warlock, Rogue, Hunter. You know, there's different variations to each, right? You know, Baku Hunter is better than maybe like Gray Hunter, but regardless, both of those cards see play in a variety of different decks, odd, even, and they all kind of have their own tune to them. They all kind of have their own specific feel. The decks may, you know, while you're playing the same class, the decks themselves feel quite a bit different depending, again, on the class and exactly what you're going for. And just really two solid legendaries to come out of the set to produce a lot of cool decks. You know what I'm saying? Like each one of these minions, or each one of these legendary minions, actually has a deck that revolves around the legendary minion itself and gives that particular deck its own feel, which I think is very, very awesome. Granted, you know, you don't want these decks too OP because then your whole deck is centered around them. It's like, oh, just Baku Warrior, tank up, spank up, 30-minute games, tier 1 deck. You know, that's no fun for anybody unless you're a control warrior player like me, and I love it. But you know what I'm saying? They're just fun, you know, tier... they're probably... Paladin's probably high, tier 1 somewhere. But regardless, really cool decks to come out of them, and just solid as is. And the fact that, you know, you're able to create so many decks, like I've mentioned, is just a fantastic aspect of these cards, and one of the reasons why they're definitely one of the most seen and definitely one of the most crafted. So with that brings to me basically the top 5 legendaries to come out of the Witchwood. These, like I said, I didn't say, but these legendaries are in no particular order. All of them have their own, you know, highlights and pros and cons. So with that, hopefully you've enjoyed, and if you would like to add anything to the comment section below, if I happen to miss out on anything, or if you'd like to, you know, I skipped over a legendary that you think has potential or is better than the ones I had mentioned, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video and or on Twitch. I'm Robert Warshak, and happy whatever the hell day it is.